It's early morning in Columbia County. I'm the Philosopher Pirate, and this is Florida at Large. I want to thank everyone, those that allergies this time of year. Those that were kind enough to donate, the new subscribers, all of the page views. I'm astounded. Several thousand now. And I just spent a little bit over a week of time. Firstly, on the park thing, I had mentioned in an earlier video that some park goers in Paynes Prairie State Park had mentioned to me that this was not the first time about the golf course thing. Well, they were correct. In 2011, now it's not clear to me because Governor Christ served till 2011, and Governor Scott basically commenced his governorship in 2011. So I don't know. It appears to be more likely Christ than Scott. With all due respect, just mentioning their last names. But this was definitely proposed, and it was the Jack Nicholson Trail of something to that effect. The Trail of Golf Courses, and it was designed to improve. What was the exact wording here? I mean, it was designed to improve Florida's reputation for championship golf courses. Well, with all due respect to the Jack Nicklaus family, I kind of like the Golden Boy, but not so much anymore. Nor do I like his family. Let's be honest. You want to build 5 championship golf courses, and these are going to be funded with bonds, and then they were going to be reimbursed with park entry fees, which means all of the park fees would have increased. So the Nicholas family, basically, or foundation, or whatever you know what? Trying to find information on this has been very difficult. And also, the park, they're not getting back to anybody. Neither is the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, the DEP. No one is answering anything. There's something. It keeps smelling worse and worse as far as the parks. Folks, we need legislation in the Florida statutes so that this type of stuff would never even be put on the table. But it appears that this is not new. This was 2011. I mean, that was a few years back, but it has been presented before. It was a matter of fact, it was a bill. Let me give you the number here. That was let's see here, House Bill 1239, titled "Act Relating to Jack Nicklaus Trail of Florida." Okay, that was the exact wording. It would enhance the state's reputation throughout the United States as a premier golf destination. You mean Florida in 2011 wasn't already a premier golf destination? I mean, are you kidding me? It's one of the only places in the country that you can enjoy golf in the middle of winter. I mean, come on. I mean, are you kidding me? Anyways, I'm going to keep researching that. On the subject of the parks not updating their information on their website, you know, I've been waiting. I've had my notebook all ready for a response. I was all ready to, actually use actual handwriting, not typing. But have not received a phone call. And it's been several days now since my video mentioning that. I don't know. I guess maybe I'll have to drive to Tallahassee and knock on the door and ask them why they're not updating their websites in a timely manner with regard, or the section on the website, the individual section for each park, if there's a closure, like if swimming's not available or kayaking's not available or equestrian or bicycling. I'm trying to mention some of the amenities. The parks are absolutely fantastic, and they're very clean. Some of the restrooms are a little dated, folks. I mean, I'll be honest. Not all of them are completely handicap accessible, but that's things that the state of Florida should work towards improving, and not golf courses and multi-story resort hotels. Anyways, I'll leave that subject for now. I'm going to continue digging, and I'm going to continue pushing for legislation. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to keep you posted. On the subject, Publix is based in Lakeland, Florida. The Jenkins family, and if I'm mispronouncing your name, I apologize. It might be Jenkins, I don't know. But pushes boar's head, and luncheon meats. I'm not a big luncheon meat. Every once in a while, I'll have a sandwich with luncheon meat. I'm not a big luncheon because it's full of preservatives, and honestly, I'd rather cook my own food, as you've seen in my videos. I enjoy cooking things from fresh. But every once in a while, I'll have a bologna sandwich. Not against it, or some Genoa salami, or some prosciutto, and some good food. Very tasty. Corned beef. Corned beef's not so much with the preservatives, but I enjoy that type of meal every once in a while. What's bothering me is when I was younger, I do not remember hearing all these stories about food contamination. And now the mercury levels and all this stuff, yes, I was hearing way back when. They were talking about tuna and mercury, when I was a child. Okay, so that's nothing new. The heavy metals in higher level predators. That's nothing new, and that's just science. What bothers me is the amount of listeria, E. coli, salmonella. I can go on and on. Giardia, cyst. Why? Why is all of this now? Is it that there are more people and there's the information age and so forth, and it's just more people know about it? I suspect otherwise. I'm like I said, I try to stick with science. But one thing I've observed, and I'm not, excuse my metaphor here, I'm not talking out of my ass. I was raised in farm country, and I was raised in the food business. Farming, manufacturing food, processing food, transporting, distributing food, and also grocery stores, restaurants, bars. I've worked in that industry my entire life, basically as support with computers, technology, and so forth. So I understand the business inside and out. And when I was young, working in my family's business, my grandmother instilled something into me at a very early age. These people that you're selling this food to are your neighbors. They might be your friends. If you wouldn't eat it yourself, you do not sell it. That was instilled. If you would not eat it yourself, you do not sell it. I don't know how much clearer I can make that. And that's what she instilled in my head. She says, first of all, it's not good to make people sick. And and she would mention the legal repercussions. They could possibly sue us. The business could be shut down by, the Department of Health or whatever, regulatory agency. She also said something else further. They might come back and punch you in the nose for giving them the runs all night long, making their whole family sick. Their kids are over the toilet. This is the problem I have today. There's so much food being processed far away from where it's being consumed. Food from other countries, processed and so forth. Canned foods. Look at canned foods today. You can find made in China on canned foods. Now, that Chinese worker, do they really care if that American or whatever, Floridian, consumes that food? Is there any repercussions for them if that person is ill? No. All they care about is collecting that paycheck and being able to feed their own family. They don't care about that person consuming the food because they don't see them face to face. Same thing with the migrant workers, all this controversy. I don't want to get into that, the border thing. But many of them are not U.S. citizens, which is face facts. Do they really care about the person consuming that food many states away when they're spinach, tomatoes, whatever? Do they really care? And the other thing is, how many porta potties and restroom facilities do you see on a farm? There aren't any. They basically relieve themselves in the fields. Do they have, baby wipes and sanitary wipes to clean their hands afterwards? I would hope so, but they may not. So that is another factor, folks. You need to wash your food, and you also need, most likely, I just cook everything. I'm at a point now where I've been sick enough times. I've had E. coli here right in the state of Florida from a restaurant. I've had salmonella from peanut butter purchased at Walmart. I've had Giardia, and that's in the Florida Keys because their water pipes are always breaking. That's a whole other issue. I have been sick many times from waterborne and foodborne illnesses. And this didn't occur when I was younger. When I was younger in college and so forth in my 20s, I wasn't getting sick from this kind of stuff. This has been happening more and more, and I think the problem is that the people that are serving the food, preparing the food, processing the food, really don't care about who consumes it. They only care about their paycheck so they can basically take care of their own family and their own interest. They really don't care about it because this Boar's Head plant in Virginia, the conditions that I'm seeing on the reports and so forth, those workers would not eat that food if it had insects crawling around in it, rodent feces and everything else. They would not consume it themselves. So why are they selling it? Why are they processing it? Paycheck. And who is monitoring this? It shouldn't be necessary to monitor it. Every single worker that's on that line should look at the product, and if they realize it doesn't smell right, there's pests crawling around in the meat or whatever, they should be immediately alerting their supervisors and stopping the line. Why is it that in this modern age we can't trust the food? That says a lot. And we need to get back to a time. The other problem we have is organic farming. All this organic, which means basically you're fertilizing it with manure, okay, feces, defecate, whatever word you want to use. You're not using, they're not using chemical fertilizers. I was raised near the Amish, Pennsylvania. The Amish scoop their manure, cows, horses, whatever. It all goes into piles. It's a different pile for each season. And basically, when the snow stops melting on a pile that's 4 or 5 seasons old, sometimes 3, as early as that, that means the bacteria have eaten every bit of what is available that they can consume. In other words, nutrients. And they leave nutrients. But the bacteria die because there's nothing left for them to eat. So when bacteria are alive, they generate heat. That's why you have a steaming pile of manure, because the bacteria are working on it. They generate heat, and that heat creates steam in the wintertime. Well, after manure sits for a while, the bacteria have nothing left to eat. And also there's worms and other, amoeba and so forth. There's other microbia and also some worms and things that are larger, and even roaches and things. They go through and eat everything that's available to them. Once there's nothing left, all that's left is pretty much dirt, but it's very nutrient-rich dirt. And then that can be used to fertilize the fields. It's safe then to use for humans. Well, it has waited several seasons, 3-4 years. It is waited before it is used, and it is used in a powdered or a solid form. What they do today is they don't let the manure sit long enough. They mix it into a slurry with water, and then they spray it. So those spinach leaves in your salad or lettuce, or you're eating you're eating your other greens, they're being sprayed with a manure water mixture. So in my mind, I would rather not have the organic. I'd rather them just use a regular chemical made fertilizer. At least I know, it's going to have, certain ingredients. It's going to have nitrogen. It's going to have, phosphates, potash, whatever, all the things that plants need. And it's just chemicals, folks. I mean, nature produces the chemicals on its own. We can produce them exactly the same. We can produce them with much higher purity without the worrisome contamination of feces, defecate, manure that has not been allowed to age long enough. Simple as that. Anyways, I'll leave it at that with food safety, but I've had enough of it. Wash your vegetables and so forth. I tend to stick with the underground vegetables that I eat, which are like potatoes, radishes, things like that. I feel those are safer. But you never know. I generally cook everything, and I feel much safer that way. And you know what? I'm not running to the toilet with issues. Um, that's basically, today's show. I don't want to make it too long, but I really want to thank everyone. I'm absolutely. I don't want to use too many adjectives and everything, but I'm really pleased with the number of views. Pleased with the viewing hours. Google, I don't know how the hell excuse my language. I don't know how they keep track of this stuff, because I got 3 different statistics. If I look at their analytics, if I look at what the public sees, and then some of the other information they show me when you're editing under the studio, the numbers are all different. I have no idea how many. I just know it's thousands. I don't know how many thousand it is for sure. This is one of the problems. You'll have a video. I released a short. It showed that it had 2 views to the general public when Google was showing me through analytics that it had several hundred. Here's the problem I have with that. If I haven't presented a short and it only has 4 views and it's several hours old, I'm going to think to myself, it must not be any good because nobody's watching it. Now, I guess there's the other thing. Well, I'll be one of the first to watch it. But if it's been there for several hours and nobody's watching it, and it had that many impressions, that tells me that it's probably not any good. And that's something that's troublesome to me with Google's the way this is processed through YouTube. I would expect it to be a little more accurate in the number of views. So somebody says, wow, this already has 200 views and it's only 18 minutes old. That must be interesting. And then they'll click on it. And that will help me get to my numbers I need so that I can monetize. And, that's basically what I'm working towards, so I can do less IT work. That's one of the reasons I haven't produced one of these rambling videos for a few days. It was the end of the month. I had to pay some bills. I had to shuffle some funds around. I had to, finish some work. But now hopefully I can focus on some more videos for this channel. And, and hopefully for the people that enjoy watching it. There's been a dragonfly buzzing around. I don't know if you saw it. But anyways, I'm going to conclude the video with that. It's early morning, Columbia County. I'm the Philosopher Pirate, and this is Florida at Large.